Hello, welcome to Female Roommates. I am Danny and this is my manga collection video. And I know this isn't a reaction, but I just wanted to share it anyways. I've been watching a lot of manga collection videos, and aside from, reaction videos on YouTube, and it's probably one of the only things that I am watching right now. And I really enjoy just seeing the things that people read and seeing the things that why they started collecting, all that stuff, and I kind of wanted to make my own video for that as well. And yeah, I've been collecting for a month now, but I've been reading manga since I was in elementary, and I was like a decade ago. I couldn't buy the physical version, so I just read it online, and I also didn't have the money because I was in elementary school. So yeah, let's just get to it. I'll be going from top to bottom. I have the top most shelf is the stuff that I still need to read, and we're just gonna go from, that's why we're gonna go from bottom to top, bottom to top. And I thought I'd make it interesting by also with what I read, and if I know the manga or series well enough, I will also recommend something like either like a manga, an anime, or like a novel, or a live action, something that will be similar to the series, or that can pique your interest as well. If you've also read the series and you're just trying to look for something else to read. So start down here. These are my deluxe versions. These are Dark Horse printings of Blade of the Immortal and Berserk. I also have Berserk up here and in the paperback volume, and I decided to pick that up because it's Dark Horse, and because they're making these deluxe versions, I'm really scared about, the paperback versions of Berserk right now, but we'll see. Anyways, back to down here. We have Blade of the Immortal, and this is a series that I've known about. It's been out since like the 1990s. It's considered a classic. It's won a lot of awards, and yet I haven't read it until now. It's always been available to me, but I just never picked it up until now. And because I decided to pick it up now, I decided to get the deluxe versions, mostly because these single volume versions and the omnibus versions are a bit harder to find, and there are scalpers out and about wanting to buy or wanting to get you to pay like $100 for a volume. And yeah, other than scalpers, Blade of the Immortal, I'm liking it. I'm partway through volume 1 of the omnibus deluxe version, and I have to say I really like it. It's something up my alley. And although one critique is that there are times when the paneling kind of confuses me, because it is read left to right, because it's one of the original mangas that Dark Horse was releasing in English. So in order to get the Western audience along with Blade of the Immortal, they tried to appeal in a way where it would make it easier for Western audiences to digest. So what they ended up doing is they ended up cutting the panels and rearranging them so that it would make sense to Western readers at the time. Now with Dark Horse, they tend to stay true to that right to left way of reading. But yeah, if you do get Blade of the Immortal, just know that it's left to right. And yeah, so I have the deluxe versions of that, and I also have these, and these are the original chapter versions that Dark Horse was releasing with Blade of the Immortal. And I really like these because of the art on the cover pages. Unfortunately, with Blade of the Immortal, the deluxe version, there's only this cover image here. That's the only thing that's colored. So if you are wanting something like this, unfortunately it's only the cover. So yeah, these are very cool. I got them off of eBay, and I knew I just had to have them once I saw them. The art is just amazing, the colors amazing. So I'm just flipping through it here. If you like Blade of the Immortal, I'd say you'd like Berserk. And that's my transitionary comment or statement to get into Berserk here. Berserk, it is an amazing series. I'm not going to talk too much about it here because I only have 3, 4, and 7 of the deluxe versions. I'll talk about it once I get to the paperback. But yeah, Berserk and Blade of the Immortal have the same vibe. It's just that Blade of the Immortal is set in Japan, Berserk is set in Europe, and it has more fantasy elements. Or Blade of the Immortal, there is like a fantasy element to it, but it's not like fantastical. Is that a word? But yeah, it's not like the way fantasy is portrayed in Berserk. So yeah, that's the difference. There's a lot of blood and gore in both of them. Let me just put this back. So after my huge deluxe versions that don't even, my hands aren't even big enough, my baby hands, we have Drifting Dragons and To Your Eternity. Drifting Dragons I'm still currently reading, but it is a manga about draking, and it's opened up a lot of controversial discussions because it can be likened to whaling today in modern day. But the thing is, the redeeming point for me, and I'm sorry, this is just my opinion, it doesn't focus on draking. Mainly it focuses on the culture and the slice of life aspect of being on a draking ship. And that is not to say that there is no dragon killing in this manga. There's a lot of death scenes for dragons, so if you are sensitive to those things, I probably would not pick this up. The only reason why I picked it up is because it portrays a time before, I guess, before mass consumption of global resources, aka capitalism. And I think that lends a hand to the story, where they hunt these dragons because they want to protect their towns, and they kind of need these dragons for to survive as well in their culture, quote unquote culture. It's like steampunk European type of manga. So it's controversial. If you do think you're into it, I would recommend probably something like Silver Spoon. It's up to you if you want to pick it up. They don't shy away from showing dragon deaths and butchering dragons as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that for Drifting Dragons. Next is To Your Eternity, and this is one of my all-time favorite mangas. I only started reading it last month, and I've read up to the recent volume. I think it's volume 13 or 14, and I read it through like I think 2 days online on Crunchyroll. I could not stop. This is one of the mangas that, like Berserk, I could not stop reading. I couldn't put it down. And so with To Your Eternity, we have an eternal, or not, an immortal being, and it goes through like the slice of life aspect of being immortal and learning how to be or interact with humans or other humans. And it's a very beautiful series. I think I prefer this more than A Silent Voice, which, by the way, the mangaka also wrote and drew A Silent Voice. If you like The Silent Voice, you will like To Your Eternity. It's a beautiful, beautiful manga. And if I were to say I prefer To Your Eternity, that is not to say that A Silent Voice isn't good. It's just that To Your Eternity is what I prefer, because this is the story where Yoshitoki Oima showcases not just her story writing, but her environmental skill and talent and hard work in drawing environmental, like different environments, because this manga goes from past to present to somewhere in the middle. So she is able to draw castles or huts and big sprawling ancient backgrounds and mountains. Everything is in here, and she's able to draw it, and she's able to draw modern day buildings and sprawling cities. It really just shows how skilled she is as an artist and writer. And To Your Eternity is like, to me, it's like her masterpiece. No matter, it's still ongoing, but to me it's like, no matter how this manga ends, I will have enjoyed the journey either way. And a lot of people are against the whole modern take of the last few volumes, but it just leaves a realistic type of vibe that she's kept throughout the first few volumes, where she portrayed life in those times, if you were to place this on a timeline, on our timeline. So although people don't like the latest volumes, I'm enjoying it, because it's showing the lifestyles of people today. And a lot of people went into this just wanting medieval or historical stuff, but if you're dealing with an immortal, it's inevitable that you're gonna end up dealing with the people in today's time. So yeah, definitely. Actually, recommendations. Of course, A Silent Voice, but other than that, To Your Eternity is very unique. I was sitting here thinking about what I can recommend for To Your Eternity, but I can't right now. If I do, I'll probably put it in the description, and yeah, you can check there. But for me, it's very unique in that sense, because it's not just about slice of life, but there's also that, and there's like antagonists and power struggles. It's a very interesting story. And next is Monster, and Monster is written by Naoki Urasawa, and he's a big name in the manga community and in regards to other mangaka. And this is one of his completed series. I do believe that he has another series ongoing right now. He even has a YouTube channel, which I'll probably link in the description. It's really cool to see him draw, and his little tutorials on what he deems important when you're learning how to draw. And it's really interesting. I'll link it in the description. But anyways, this is a completed manga. It also got adapted into an anime, and it focuses around morality and what we deem right and what we deem wrong, and socially right and socially wrong, but then also, is there a right or a wrong in the bigger picture of things? And so in this manga, we focus around Dr. I believe his name is Tenma, and he's a doctor from Japan, and he is highly skilled, so they bring him up to Germany, and he starts working for a hospital in Germany, and he ends up working as a surgeon for, I guess you could say, politicians all over Europe. Not just politicians, but A-list celebrities, a lot of people who could be able to change the political climate of Europe. And he realizes that the hospital is doing this on purpose, and that they are neglecting the local, just the locals in the area, and they're putting them second place in regards to who comes first to get surgery or life-saving surgery. So he ends up having this moral dilemma where he's wondering, like, was that the right thing to do? Or is it my fault that this person lost their life? Or could I have saved this person? Or if I had just gotten there sooner? It's very interesting. And of course, when you're reading through this manga, you're kind of wondering to yourself as well, like, what would I do? Or what would you do? Or what would people generally do in this situation? And so it's not just that. That's just like the beginning, I guess, of the story of Monster. There is much more to this story in regards to the political climate, just conspiracy theories, and yeah, it's full of mystery, thriller, suspense. It centers around I guess I can say it because it's not like I'm saying who it is. It centers around a serial killer and kind of like a cultist leader, and the doctor is in the middle of the entire thing. So yeah, I really enjoy this manga. It's one of the, I believe, in my opinion, I prefer Monster over 20th and 21st Century Boys. Don't kill me for saying that. That's just what I like. And again, if you like Monster, give the other series that Naoki Urasawa has written and drawn. He is a very great storyteller, and he's really great at not just the art, but the overall story. He's really great at telling stories with like a little mysterious, I guess, edge to it. So if you really like mysteries, give Monster a try. If you like this story, you will probably like things like Ikigami. Ikigami is more straightforward in like moral decisions that we make and things that seem normal to us in society but isn't actually, like, it doesn't make sense. And in Ikigami, it's about a man who is also in a position of, I guess, dealing with the public and the government. I think maybe it's yearly or like a couple of years, the government chooses specific citizens to kill off just to keep the public in check. And the main character in that story works as the person who tells these people that, oh, you've been chosen to die by the government, and you can't do anything about it. and you have, I think, like a certain amount of time to live. I'm not sure if it's a day or like 2, but or maybe even hours to live, and then they're gonna inject you with something and you're gonna die and be publicized by the government. So if you like Monster, you'll probably like Ikigami. Not by the same author. I forget the author of Ikigami, but I'll also put it in the video. And yeah. Next up, we have I Am a Hero, and I was reading I Am a Hero back when it was first being published as chapters. This was before it was published as volumes. And with I Am a Hero, this isn't the first manga that I've read of Kengo Hanazawa. He has a very distinct art style, just as any other mangaka out there. But it's more realistic in a way where the people or the characters in his manga really do seem or look like real people in real life. And that's the thing that makes it interesting, because what I noticed with Kengo Hanazawa is that his main characters have no privacy. Like, they have no private life when it comes to us, the readers. We really see and get a glimpse of everything that the character does. Not everything, but like every private thing that the character does that we ourselves deem private. Like, for example, we have like a face at work, and that's how I would describe it. Like, a lot of characters in manga and stories and novels, a lot of them we don't get to see them in the bathroom, or like those private moments of like of just having the decency of privacy. But with Kengo Hanazawa, it's like you see everything, and when I say everything, I mean literally you see everything. And so this is the manga called I Am a Hero, obviously, and it's a zombie manga. It's based in Japan, if a zombie apocalypse were to happen in Japan. And what I like is that the zombies aren't exactly stupid, I guess. I mean, it's like they do have like lower brain function, I guess, but they are still able to talk, and they still it's like they're able to repeat things that happen in their life verbally, but it's not like they have like a conscience or are able to think, I guess, like think critically, I guess you could say. It's like it's a different take on the zombie genre for me personally, from what I've read, and that's what I like about it. And yeah, like, if you like this manga, I would recommend High School of the Dead. It's not like I Am a Hero, but it's still another zombie manga which was also very popular. I say I recommend it, but the thing with High School of the Dead is that I believe the mangaka might have passed away, and so the story was never completed. But I have to say, when it was going and when it did have an anime, it was very good. Although there's a lot of fan service, yeah, there's a lot of fan service. Although there's a lot of fan service, there's a lot of like details, like the teenagers having to figure out how to survive, and how these zombies work, and yeah, it's very interesting. Other than High School of the Dead, I would recommend, if you are into characters that have like no privacy and you're like intrigued by it like I am, I would recommend another manga from Kengo Hanazawa, which is called Ressentiment. And for Ressentiment, it's not a zombie manga, but it kind of features the same type of character that this character is, like a otaku, kind of shut-in, not exactly a hikikomori, but almost there. And it's set, I guess, in the future, or maybe the future. It's set in a time where virtual reality has taken over, and it goes through like human nature and why we would go into virtual reality instead of living our own lives. And yeah, it's more comedic. It has an interesting premise because there's like an antagonist in that manga who was also the creator of this specific world, I think, in virtual reality. And so the main character is like having another life, and he's reliving his life the way he wanted to. And then in reliving his life in virtual reality, he starts to become more open and less of a shut-in, even though he's still in virtual reality. And he learns to be more empathetic and more human in Ressentiment than in real life, being kicked around by everyone in his vicinity. So yes, I would definitely recommend Ressentiment if you like I Am a Hero. Next we have The 12 Kingdoms. So it's a light novel, but I wanted to add it in because it was adapted into anime, and it is also written by Fuyumi Ono, who has written many light novels that have been adapted to anime and manga, or both anime and manga. Some of her notable works are Shiki and... actually, I forget now. If I know it, I'll put it in the video. Shiki, which is a horror. Recently, she's been doing more horror and mystery than adventure. But the story of the 12 Kingdoms is basically your average isekai genre story, but it's not set in an environment where they go into a game. She actually ends up going to a place that can be that closely resembles ancient Japan and China, and I believe she even got a lot of inspiration from ancient China and ancient Chinese stories. So she does not shy away from making the main character, which is the right here. It's a lead female character. She does not shy away from making this character like very annoying and needy and dependent in the beginning of the story. She does not shy away from that, and a lot of people, when they watch the anime or even read the book, may be turned off by like her being unable to take care of herself and her just being very stubborn. But I can say those qualities end up working out for her, and then she also learns how to be more independent, and become a better person as well as a leader. She ends up becoming a queen, which it's not really a spoiler because it's told in the beginning that she's supposed to be the queen, and the story goes through her kind of realizing that she's not only the queen, but she can never go back to her life when or before she got whisked away to this historical land. So I can say that if you like the 12 Kingdoms, you will probably like every other isekai genre story out there. Most notably Overlord and maybe even Sword Art Online, but Sword Art Online is more different. It's different than this. It's the only thing similar is that it's both isekai. But if you want something similar than this, I do have suggestions that aren't isekai. It's like a manga called Kingdom, and it's actually set in historical China, or ancient China, sorry, when it was like the Warring States period, right at the beginning. Either the beginning or before, and it talks about it's loosely based on actual historical events, and it actually has characters that are also loosely based on real life characters, or real life people in historical or ancient China. And it basically talks about or goes through the same thing where although she our main character here does not want to become the queen, in Kingdom it's the opposite. They do want to become king. It's just a matter of the struggle of the political life, the drama, the violence, the war, everything. It's there. So if you like the 12 Kingdoms, or if you like Kingdom, you will probably like the 12 Kingdoms, or you will probably like Kingdoms. And yeah, that's all I can really say. I don't have any other suggestions, I don't think, right now. If I do, I'll write it in the description. The only other thing I can think of is the heroic legend of Arslan. That's the only thing I can recommend at the moment. It's about a prince, and he ends up being... Actually, I probably shouldn't say the description for that, because it may be a spoiler. But yeah, you could check that out as well. And yeah, that's it to the 12 Kingdoms. Put this back here, not in order. Next is Berserk, and Berserk is one of my favorite mangas ever. I can't recommend it for everyone because there are things in here that will trigger people, and some people may say like, oh, but it's just images in a book. But even though it is images in a book, it can still trigger people, and that's why I will rarely recommend it to like a newer person who is starting off reading manga, unless I know them personally and I know that they're okay with things like blood and gore and people being decapitated, or just overall violent storylines. If you like Game of Thrones, you will like this. It's just that this is way more violent than Game of Thrones, in my opinion, because there are just some things in here where you're like, what the heck is going on? Why? But the thing is, it's not there for no reason. It's not there for just shock value. It's there to drive the story. It's there to drive the characters and show why they do the things that they do. And so it's not in vain, I can say. So Berserk is a dark fantasy medieval manga / story, and in Berserk we have a character named Guts. That's the main character. He's not the only character. that we focus on, but he is the main character who is driven by his trauma, his struggles, and his and vengeance at times, and his need to protect people. And he starts off as very he starts off as very cynical. We meet him in the beginning. He's very cynical, and then we end up going to the past, and we find out why he's like that, and what made him this way, and the trauma that he had to go through in his life to make him very cold, angry, vengeful. So yeah, the premise is there are things set in this world, or monsters or demons called apostles, and they used to be human, but then they had to sacrifice or give up something close to them, or that they care about the most, in order to become these apostles, who are 100 times stronger than the regular human, and they seem to lose their humanity. But what brings them, and what kind of guides them through being an apostle, is their very human aspects, or their very human emotions that keep them as, or that turn them into that desperate state of wanting to become an apostle. And so we have Guts, who fights these apostles because he has been cursed in a way to fight them, because of something that happened in the story, something important that happens in volume 13. And I'm not going to say what, because that would be a big spoiler. Although you get a lot of foreshadowing in the beginning volumes from 1 to 3. And yeah, with Berserk, there's nothing quite like Berserk out there, but I can recommend things that do come a little close in terms of genre, blood and gore. If I were to recommend something, I would recommend Claymore, although it has a similar environment, dark medieval fantasy. It does have its own unique qualities to it, and not a lot of people like the ending of Claymore, but I do appreciate it for what it was, because with Claymore, I guess the mangaka did not want to go forward and continue onto knowing or exploring outside of the environment that he's placed these characters in. And so I can respect that. If you can't make a good story outside of this environment, then just end it there, but also end it in a good way that can give us a nice conclusion to the story. And that's what the mangaka did, so I can really respect that, and that's why I do want it in my collection as well. It's just as gory and violent as Berserk, and again, if you do like dark fantasy manga, then you'll probably like that. Another one that I could, I guess, recommend is Ubelblatt. See, the thing with Ubelblatt, it started off really great, but eventually it kind of slowed down in its own way. I can't say much about liking Ubelblatt, but I do see the similarities to, I guess, that dark medieval fantasy genre. And some people do like Ubelblatt. It's just my personal opinion that I don't particularly like it. some of the things that happen in there, unlike Berserk, like the violence and the explicit scenes are just there for shock value, I feel. And even if they're not, it didn't convince me otherwise. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go into Ubelblatt with a open mind and just wanting to read something on the side, you should definitely give it a try. It does have a lot of good qualities in and of itself, but yeah, that's all I can say about that. Also, even though I was talking about Berserk, I forgot to show the art, or at least the cover, and so that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm really sorry about that. So the art for Berserk is phenomenal. It is one of the greatest art styles and art development, because this has been running for probably like, how long now? 30 years? Maybe 25, mid-20 years. But yeah, you can obviously see the art style develop in Kentaro Miura, from volume 1 to volume 40. Where's 40? Right there. And a lot of people don't like the beginning art. I personally think that it's really great, the art in the beginning. To have that type of art in the beginning as like the starting point of his art style is actually quite amazing, because there's a lot of things that just a lot of things in the first 3 volumes where you're like, wow, like that is breathtaking, or that is amazing how he was able to draw that scene or that double spread. So yeah, again, it's up to personal preference. I personally believe that the art in the beginning stages is just as good as the art in the ending stages. And I do have a video up going through all the cover art, explaining the story. It's on my channel. I'll link it somewhere here, there, or in the description. And definitely check out if you don't want to read the story, definitely at least check out the art. It's amazing. And I also have a volume down here, and this is volume 7. I think it's 1920 to 21. And it's like the midway point of his art journey. Oh, let me just flip to somewhere that isn't completely... here we go. So it's not really a spoiler, it's just really great art. Yeah, this is Kentaro Miura. And again, I can't recommend it to everyone, but I will say it's a great and amazing manga, artistically and in terms of story writing. It is amazing. And before I spoil anything, I'm just gonna close it. Oh right, I just wanted to say I am collecting both the physical version and the deluxe. If you just want to read it, I would definitely say just get the deluxe, because it is the way to read Berserk. The quality is amazing. It definitely is better than the paperback volume. There are issues in the paperback volume where sometimes it's a bit too dark. But yeah, I only bought the paperback volumes because I do want to collect Berserk as it is. I might even buy the Berserk Japanese versions. But yeah, I would definitely recommend the Berserk Deluxe if you just want to read it. And finally, we have the top shelf of my bookshelf. A lot of these, well, all of these I've never read before. So I did, when I was collecting, I did think about the manga that I did want to have that I've read already, as well as the manga that I didn't have yet that I knew that I would reread again and also like. So I'm just gonna add Magus of the library. So all of these I have not read yet. So yeah, let's start with Mobile Suit Gundam, the origin. This I heard it was a series that you can start in order to get into the Gundam world, I guess. I felt that it had a lot of similarities to one of the shows that I react to and shows that I really like, named The Expanse, with the different colonies in space at war with each other and at war with Earth, and the power struggles between Earth and the colonies that were created from people from Earth, and then they wanted their independence. So I feel like I will enjoy this series just because I also really like sci-fi series and political sci-fi series. That's what I really like. Anyways, I can't really say too much about recommendations for this top shelf because, again, I haven't really read them, though I have read part of Volume 1 of Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin, and from what I can see, if you like this, other than the other Gundam series, of course, I can recommend another manga, a sci-fi manga, which I completely forget the name, Knights of Sidonia. If you like Knights of Sidonia, or if you like Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin, and you're itching for another sci-fi anime or sci-fi story, definitely check out Knights of Sidonia. It's not exactly like Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin, or The Expanse, but it is a sci-fi political drama set in a survivalist environment in space, because it's not humans against humans, it's humans against aliens, I guess. Yeah, it's just humans against aliens, and although I say humans against aliens, it's much more complicated than that and much more interesting than that. So for my recommendation, other than Mobile Suit Gundam, The Origin, definitely check out Knights of Sidonia. It's one of my favorites. Aside from that, we have Death Note up here. I like the anime. It's a really good anime. I admit that it's one of the classics in terms of our generation, and I have never read the manga before, ever, so I thought I'd pick it up. That's why I ended up getting the all-in-one edition, because I wasn't really going to go out looking for the single volume versions or the box set or the black versions, so that's why I got the all-in-one. I got it on sale, and so I decided that, yeah, let's just give Death Note the manga a try. And since I watched the anime, I will give a recommendation of something else that may pique your interest. If you like the whole premises of the main character being able to control other people and being able to change the world in his own way, I would recommend an anime called Code Geass, or Code Geass, and it is a mecha anime set in a different version of Japan, or different version of the world, where a empire called Britannia takes over the world and they start colonizing the different countries within this world that's similar to our own, and they take over Japan, and Japan is not named Japan anymore. I think it's Area 8 or something like that. Please forgive me if I'm wrong, but I haven't watched that anime in such a long time. And yeah, so someone, or the protagonist or the main character, isn't really the nicest person, but he wants to change, I guess, the world, or he wants to change the circumstances of not just the Japanese people, but everyone around the world who is being colonized by Britannia. And so he ends up getting this power, and he is able to control people just like the way the main character in Death Note is able to control people. So yeah, although Code Geass and Death Note are very similar, Code Geass has its own unique aspects to its own story that differentiates itself from Death Note. So it's not like you're gonna be rewatching Death Note but just in mecha. Like, no, it definitely has its own unique aspects, and the ending to both mangas are completely different. And I would say it's kind of interesting to see how it's completely different, or not just different, but opposite. And so it's like the same yet opposite. I guess their convictions and the way they ended it. So yeah, if you like Death Note, definitely give Code Geass a try. It's only an anime though, so there is a manga, but I'm not sure if it's like legit or any good, because I've never read it before. I'm pretty sure the anime came before the manga for Code Geass, that is. And another recommendation for Death Note, if you just like the art, is Vagabond. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced it, but yeah, it's from the same author, the same writer, and the same artist of Death Note. And again, for the art, there's also Hikaru no Go, which is also drawn by the same artist as Death Note. And both have completely different storylines, so that's why I'm just saying in terms of the art. Yeah, give it a try. Next we have Vagabond, and I actually got these a long time ago, back in 2013. I was going through comics shops in my city, and I happened upon these volumes. I had known about Vagabond way before I saw these volumes in 2013, but it's the first time that I actually saw a volume up close. I know that it's an acclaimed title, and I know that Takehiko Inoue is very well known in the manga community and the mangaka community because his art style and his art, not just for Vagabond, but for his other mangas like Slam Dunk and Real, is just phenomenal. Not a lot of mangakas that I've seen have reached this level. The only other mangaka that I know that has reached this level is again Kentaro Miura with Berserk. With Vagabond, it is very violent, very gory, but it's more like a slice of life, I guess. I've only read up to volume 2, and I quite enjoy it. And if you like Vagabond, and only because I read up to volume 2, I would recommend something like Vinland Saga. I've never read the manga for Vinland Saga, which I plan to soon, but I have watched the anime, the first season of the anime, and if you like that, you will like Vagabond. It's another historical manga. it's more slice of life, real life, that rather than fantasy. And yeah, that's why if you like Vagabond, you should definitely try Vinland Saga, either the anime or the manga. And next we have Mobile Suit Gundam Thunderbolt. I actually know nothing about this. I only bought it because of Mobile Suit Gundam, the origin, and because I was hearing some good things about it in terms of it being, it having like a background of jazz and people just enjoying jazz in space while in a war. So yeah, I just wanted to give it a try. If I don't like it, I'll probably sell it. If I do, or actually I probably won't sell it because the art in Thunderbolt is really great. It is a different style from Mobile Suit Gundam the origin, the art style. I would say it is a bit more refined kind of type of art style. Even though I say refined, that doesn't mean that it's a better art style. It's just more sharper. While the Mobile Suit Gundam the origin, the art style is more likened to the days of like the 1980s, where a lot of the anime characters or characters in general, if they weren't realistic looking, they were more like Astro Boy looking. Not really completely Astro Boy looking, but like it has that style of like the 1980s. So yeah. And now we're on to Magus of the Library, and I have not read this. I have heard some good things about it, and I know already that I'll probably keep it in my collection because I just really love the art style when I was looking at it, and the premise of the story. It's just a boy who really loves the library and reading and learning, and it's like an adventure slash like trying to find the libraries of the world or something like that. I don't know. It's just something that I really want to read. I ordered up till I think the 4th volume that's out. And yeah, I can't wait to start reading it. Anyways, that is my manga collection. Thank you for watching. I hope I gave some good recommendations. And again, if you do have recommendations for me, please give me recommendations in the comment section. Sorry, I'm like getting kind of tired of talking. But please give me any recommendations in the comment section. I would love to see what you guys can recommend to me or us. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.